Today's lesson, we're talking about 3 common minor chords all beginners should know. Let's dive in. So first, we're going to talk about the D minor. In some of the previous videos, we talked about the D major. The D minor we're just basically going to move one finger back to make a minor third. That's the major sound and the minor sound. So once again, we're going to start on the 4th string. My middle finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. My pinky's going to come up to the 3rd fret, 2nd string, kind of like the beginning of the D chord. My index, my first finger is coming back to the 1st fret, 1st string, so from the 4th string down. D minor. Once again, open D, 4th string, index finger, A note, 2nd fret, 3rd string. My pinky's coming up to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and my first finger, high E on the 1st fret. D minor. The second chord we're going to work on today is the A minor. If you watched my video on the A chord, I kind of dabbled a little bit with the A minor chord, but once again, we're going to start with the 5th string open this time, with an open A. My middle finger is going to come up here to the 4th string on the 2nd fret. My ring finger right below it, 3rd string, 2nd fret. Index fingers coming down, 2nd string, 1st fret on that B string. And my high E will ring open. A minor. So D minor and A minor. The third chord today is the E minor chord. And my very first video I sent out to you guys was on the E minor chord. Once again, I'm going to start with my middle finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. My ring finger is going to come here to the 4th string, 2nd fret. And I'm going to strum all 6 strings open. E minor, A minor, D minor. So if you think of those 3 chords kind of as like a minor progression, and you start on the A minor, and you go to the D minor, and then you go to the E minor in that particular chord progression, A minor. You kind of have a cool little 1, a 1, 4, 5 in a minor progression. One thing to think about, this is kind of a little side note, but you can turn that 5th, what I'm calling the 5th in that particular progression, the E minor, you can make that a 7th chord. So say I have an A minor, I go to D minor, and instead of playing E minor, I play E7. It adds a little more tension when we go back home to the A minor. Back home, A minor. So one thing to think about is, you might not always want to play your chords up here in the open position, so I'm going to throw 3 really simple triads out at you today. The 3 bottom strings, we're only using the 3 bottom strings on these triads, so we're going to start out with the A minor, and I'm only going to use my index for this particular chord position. and I'm going to bar the bottom 3 strings at the 5th fret. That's my 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string, G, B, E. That's my A minor triad. The next 2 chords are the same fingering. This is my D minor triad. I'm going to start with my index finger on the high E string, 5th fret. My middle finger comes right up here to the 2nd string on the 6th fret. My ring finger comes here to the 7th fret. Creates kind of like a little staircase or however you want to remember it. That's my D minor triad on the bottom 3 strings. And for E minor, I'll just move it up to this position here. And what I'm doing is I have my index finger on the 9th fret, my index finger is on the 7th fret. My middle finger is here on the 8th fret, and my ring finger comes up to the 9th fret on the G string. So it can be that simple depending on where you're at. When I hit this A minor triad, I'm also employing the 5th open string, the A. Give it a little bass. And since we're sort of in the key of A minor, I can use that A bass over the D minor. I can use the A bass over the E minor. And if you're wondering how to do the E minor in a triad position, I will start with my middle finger, 4th fret on the 3rd string. First finger's coming down to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and my ring finger is on the high E string, 4th fret. That's my E7 triad. My E7 chord up here, I'm also employing my pinky finger on the 2nd string of the 3rd fret on the 2nd string here. You can take the pinky off of that particular fret. And the E7 chord here I'm playing is pretty basic. I have my 6th string is open, the E string. My middle finger is fretting this B note on the A string at the 2nd fret. My D is ringing open. That's my dominant sound. And here is my 1st finger on the 1st fret, 3rd string. So it's sort of like the E major chord, but I remove my ring finger. I take my ring finger away from this. And if you want, you can add your pinky on the B string of the 3rd fret. You don't always have to play the E7 when you're hitting the minor on that particular type of chord progression, but it just gives a little more tension, kind of a classical sound, or you start dipping into the harmonic minor sound. So once again today, we learned how to play the A minor chord, D minor, E minor, E7. We talked about triads on the bottom 3 strings. We have an E minor, an A minor, D minor, E minor, and we also talked about our dominant 7 triad on the bottom 3 strings. And in this case, it's an E7.